Hi there. I'm wearing these glasses so I look all professorially and stuff. In case you didn't know, anybody knows anything knows that all great professors use the phrase all professorially and stuff. So I'm going to put these back on. Anyways, today, our class, we're going to do a Woodwinds session for a song I wrote for my daughter going to college called Ode to Sydney Grace. We have an amazing guy who plays multiple woodwinds. He's going to be playing 2 scratch tracks, scratch drums, scratch piano. At later sessions, I'll record the piano, and I'm going to have a drummer record the drums. In fact, we already had the drummer record the drums. And you're going to learn about recording woodwinds. You're also going to learn a bit about what to do and what not to do in the art and flow of running a recording session. As a producer, you want it to have high standards, but you also want it to be fun, so everybody's sort of loose and having a good time. I'm not done with the mix of the final version of Ode to Sydney Grace yet, so I can't put that yet at the end of this session because I'm a terrible father and I'm not finished yet. Sorry, Sydney. But we'll get to that soon. And when I finish it, I will post that so you guys can check out the final mix. Let's get to it. All right, class. Today's virtual class is about recording woodwinds. This is the great Art Bouton. He is the head of the Woodwinds department at DU. He plays every instrument known to...
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
I used to be. Now I'm head of jazz studies.
All he is the head of jazz studies. That's all, yeah.
So I'm great at making things up.
He's the man, yeah. But he plays the alto sax, the tenor sax, the flute, the clarinet, the balalaikas, the bagpipes. What else do you play?
I play all the woodwinds.
He plays all the woodwinds.
I play oboe well enough to do Book of Mormon.
There you go.
And
it's a great show, by the way.
And I play bassoon pretty well, but nobody ever calls me for it.
Oh, okay.
So I play soprano, alto, tenor, bari, piccolo flute, alto flute, clarinet, E-flat clarinet, bass clarinet, a billion penny whistles, and lots of recorders.
See, so he doesn't play very much. He doesn't play very much at all. What we're going to do, I asked Art here for a couple reasons. One, I want to record on this song because he's awesome. And 2, we wanted to talk to him about recording woodwinds. Okay, he has a bunch of expertise in this. He just asked me, do you want to record with a large diaphragm or a small diaphragm mic? In a few weeks, we're going over mics and details, but we're starting now. And my answer was, I don't know. What do you want?
Generally, for like an instrument like a tenor sax or a bari sax, you want a larger diaphragm mic.
Tell them what a diaphragm is.
The diaphragm is when you look into a microphone, it's actually the disc that you see. That's the diaphragm. That's what's picking up the sound. So if you're producing lower frequencies, you want a disc that's going to accept those better than a smaller diaphragm. They all work. They all sound great. These are all great mics. Industry standard would be a Shure SM7 for tenor or a Warm Audio, I think it's 87. That's a newer brand that's out. I have a Rode NT1 at school. Once again, they're all large diaphragm side address microphones. If you want to spend $1 million, you can get a Sennheiser 441. But
nice. We're going to spend $1 million. And here's the thing. Here's a very real world experience for you, okay? I should have asked Art this before, but to be honest, we decided this morning that we were going to do this session tonight. This is what happens a lot in recording sessions. Several of those mics he named, we have at CU Denver, but I don't have them here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the best with what we have. What I have is some Russian Octava mics where you can set it to Omni, you can set it to cardioid, different things. I have a TLM 103, a Neumann TLM 103. It's a very nice mic. These are nice mics too. And then I have a couple things like SM58s and stuff. So
and you don't need a million mics. You know, I have an SM57 at home. Those things are so durable. When you take them out of the studio, you can take 6 of them and pitch your tent with them. Just use them for tent pegs. They're that's kind of a joke.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Wait, stop that and I'll laugh. Yeah. Okay.
SM57 at home. All I have for woodwinds is a Beyer ribbon mic, which I like. I prefer recording with higher woodwinds, but it works for everything. So Beyer M160.
And the trouble with the ribbon mics, right, is if you blow it too loud, they're sensitive, right?
That's the stupidest. The thing you don't do in a recording session. Hey, does this ribbon mic work?
Yeah.
You know, or do some kind of big plosive thing. You have to be nice to them.
Okay. And the other thing I told you guys last week or something, and by the way, you always want to get the best mic possible. But what is even more important is getting a really good player. And I'm not, I'm very serious here. If you get a really good player and you have good or better mics, you're going to be fine. A great player and great mics is obviously the best, but it's going to sound fine whatever mic we record on because of this guy.
Both, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know I should blow on the small end, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll go from there. Okay. So Art has chosen the Neumann, and so we're going to put this. We haven't even gone over mics yet, but some of these really nice mics, like the Neumann, they have this. I can't even remember what this thing is called. It's
called a cage.
It reminds me of those things that babies sit in and swing back and forth so they won't move. That's what it reminds me of. But okay, yeah. So you have this thing. It's a really good idea to hold an expensive mic like this the way I'm holding it right now. Don't do that. All right, so you put this thing in, and then I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing, but basically what's going to happen is
you should turn that off.
It takes a lot longer than it looks to try to get this thing. So now we're going to stop it, and then magically it's going to be working in 30 seconds or like 3 hours when I'm done putting this in.
It's going to be a cooking show. Yeah.
All right, so we're putting this Neumann in here. Uh-oh, did I just mess it up again? Let's see. Okay, so that one fell off when I put that one on. And the reason why it's in this contraption, see if you can figure out why. Okay, the reason why it's in here is none of the vibrations on any of this metal does anything to it now. It's just, it's in this like sound-free zone in there.
It's a cage. Yeah.
It's a cage. But here's the problem. My mic stand sucks, and that's too heavy. So I'm going to go get a bag full of heavy stuff to put on the other side. That's my extremely high-tech way of making this work. So we will be back in a moment with more of our cooking show. All right. This is our very high-tech solution to this problem. This is my youth soccer coaching bag, and it's holding this down, and then this is up here. There you go. This is super pro right here. This is how it's done. Yeah. All right. So what's next?
If you're going to record a tenor sax or any saxophone, where you want the microphone is, this is pretty good, maybe a little higher, maybe lower the soccer bag. Not too much, because this cage is, we don't want the cage to lean in towards itself. So that's actually fine. When I'm recording...
Do you want me to straighten this?
If you can, yeah.
There you go.
You want the microphone for a saxophone. You want to be able to touch the microphone with your hand, and so that the sound is picking up. It's a combination of the bell and the upper stack. So that's going to be fine, just like that.
Okay. So it's kind of like a vocalist in a way. Vocalist is usually a little over, but yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay. So
also, are you still rolling?
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason why I'm setting up like this is I don't want to play right into this reflective surface. So
yeah, I'm trying to show him what he's talking about.
That's the glass.
Yep.
So I immediately am trying to find a place so I get more distance in the room, so it doesn't sound too boxy. And this is a nice neutral sounding room. I'm sure you've done a million things in here.
Yeah, we've got, yeah, Nate, if you can go around, this is my main treated room in my recording studio, and a whole lot of people who are a lot smarter than I am helped me design this so that the sound doesn't bounce around. So basically when these doors are closed, it's almost reverbless.
Yeah.
But you can already see the use of hiring somebody, when you have a combination of somebody who sort of knows what he's doing, recording engineering, and somebody who knows what he's doing playing, already he knows things about the studio that normal players don't know. And so the more knowledge you can get in the studio, the better chance of success you're going to have.
For my entire career, anytime anybody was micing me, whether it was a show or a recording session, whatever, I would kind of suss out how many questions they could accept, but I would ask as many as I could. Mm-hmm. What kind of mic is this? Why are you choosing it? You know, what kind of stuff do you do?
And let me just say, that fits so well into what we were talking about a few weeks ago in class, which is he's learning as he's going. And while you're doing that, you're also developing relationships and impressing people that you're actually curious and voracious about wanting to master the studio. And so if I'm hiring this sax player and he's asking me all this cool stuff about how the studio works, I know that if I hire him again in 6 months, he's going to be a pro at everything involved in recording in the studio, and I'm going to feel really good about hiring this guy, right? Okay, so is there anything else? Or do you want to do should we do the alto, the other instruments after? We'll do this one first. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get to recording this one. So, a few other things we wanted to show you, because actually we've never been in the studio in this class before. This is the recording room. That's the control room. So Art's, we've got a pair of headphones here for him. I've got 4 headphone outs here, so we could have 4 different musicians all listening to their own mix in here if we really wanted to. And I also have extenders if you need the headphones longer, stuff like that. Then in here, what we do is we close these the doors here. I actually have the recording light up there that I turn on. And by the way, you can already hear, when you hear my voice here, you can tell how little reverb is in the other room. All of a sudden, there's tons of reverb in here. So we turn that on. If we really want to get obsessive about it, I can lock this door, but we're not going to do that. Actually, we will. It'll make us feel more special. Okay, then we come in here and we record. We close these doors. I've got this rehearsal piano in here. If anybody wants to find their pitches for vocalists and stuff like that. We close this. And then in the control room, this glass, there's 2 sheets of glass. There's one here, and there's one over with Art, and there's a space in the middle. And same with the walls. The walls, there's a wall, a space with denim in it, and then another wall. And this makes it so there's not very much sound that gets through. Right here is my control and talkback. Art, can you hear me right now? Let's see. Oh, I don't have a, let's see. I don't have him in yet. Let's see. Now we can hear him. You can see it coming through there. And the amazing thing about this is Art has never played this instrument before. That's not true. Let's see if my talkback is working. Hey there, Big Macho. Can you hear me? No, maybe it's not working. Okay, that's something we need to look at. Can you hear me, Art? Oh, he can hear me. Okay. He was just lost in his brilliance. Yes. All right. Go ahead. So we'll go ahead and stop now, and we'll get back when we start recording. On, and now we can hear you. Be as close to the mic as you can. It's not like you have to lean down. Just
what I was doing, you probably didn't record me doing that, but what I've already done is I've memorized, I think, a decent chunk of what I'm supposed to play over. In fact, I was hearing Cory do this a bunch. Yeah. So I'm going to incorporate that. So the one thing I'm going to do in a recording session is not waste time.
And to that end, I'm putting talk so you can hear me talk to them. I have already wasted time by not scoring his part. I usually score parts for musicians, which actually makes me rare for most songwriters. But I haven't done it this time, partly because we're flying by the seat of our pants, and partly because I know that Art's so good that I want to make him do all the work instead of me. All right, here we go.
Well, if I could add something to that, many times I'll get called for things. Hey, just listen to this and add something.
All right.
Oh, I do have one story to tell, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
A good friend of mine was in a recording session recording a soprano solo over some jingle. And he was improvising and playing the soprano solo. And one of the agency ad execs got on the talkback mic and said, "Bob, that's nice, but could you make it sound more like a picnic?" And Bob doesn't miss a beat. He says, "You want a corporate or a family picnic?"
Nice. Very nice. All right. So we're gonna do a take now. But how do you want to do it, Art? In terms of, do you want to hear back what I played on those choruses and do those first, or do you just want me to play it through once and you just sort of get used to the song and record some licks over it first time through?
I didn't hear any saxes until like the third chorus or something, third verse.
Yeah, they come in on the... Here, let me show you what they do on the choruses. Oops. My bad. I'm going to turn the vocals off just so you can hear just the sax thing. Sorry, I got to fast forward to the chorus. Okay, now I'm going to tell Art and the class something at the same time. So what you just heard is actually my MIDI scratch tracks. Those are just fake saxophones that I played in last night that are what I'd like Art to play in the chorus. But when you have a great player like Art, what I like to do is I like to ask him to play something I wrote, but then I always take an extra 10 minutes to ask them to do a take or two that is just stuff that they come up with. And what I usually do on my recordings is I end up sort of having a mixture of the things that I wrote and the things that somebody who is natively brilliant on that instrument, something they added that I would have never thought of. That's really awesome. That's just how I usually like to do it with a jazz player like Art. So I forgot to score this for him, but I just remembered Logic actually has, if you go from the piano roll to the score, it actually has scoring capability. So all I did was I took a screenshot of this, because that's the chorus that I wanted to play, and I'm sending him an email with it. Boom. There you go. It's not exactly the most professional way something would be done, but it's, you know, it's going to get the job done.
So now I'm having to sight transpose bass clef to tenor sax.
Nice. Isn't that nice of me? I might actually, I don't know.
No, it's
we
fine.
probably don't want to spend the time,
fine.
but I could probably figure out how to do that. But all right,
No, don't bother.
he's going to do it. All right. So now I'm going to set up the track he's going to record in. This is Logic, not Pro Tools, but they all work very similar. I add a track. I'm adding an audio track. I've got him plugged in via my patch bay to input 1, mic input 1 in that room. So I'm going to set, oh, here it is, right here. So I'm going to make sure right here, this is set to input 1, and you can see it coming through right there. I accidentally put 2 tracks, so I'm going to delete audio 4. There it is, coming through on audio 5, and I'm going to get organized by calling this tenor sax, real sax, because I have fake saxophones in my on my MIDI tracks. And then I'm going to put it at the top while I'm recording, just to make it really easy for me to know where the heck it is. All right. So so my question for you is, do you want the fake sax on or off when you're recording this?
It was fine, just like that.
Okay, I'll do that. If you can, go ahead and film for a moment. Or are you filming already? Mm-hmm. Okay, so...
I'll say one other thing, too.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just played through that 3 times. And the reason why I kept going is sometimes an engineer, they'll think they'll tell you you're just rehearsing something.
Yeah.
But you want to just still play it.
Yeah. So, by the way, I thought he was going to go here. I will tell you something I do all the time as a producer, and that is I lie all the time.
Oh, of course. For
the benefit of my... What I thought this is where you were going to go. Especially with vocalists who tend to get nervous, I tell them we're just practicing, and I often record those, and those are often the takes we end up using, because they're not stressed out, they're just going through stuff. And that's one of the beautiful things about having Pro Tools or Logic or whatever. You can record a million things it's much different than the old days when we had to worry about sound degradation every time we record something.
Right.
And so, yes, exactly. What I was going to show them is if you could just play in there anything for a moment. The one thing I need to do is make sure I set my preamp so that he's not too loud or too soft. In my particular system, it's a thing called Maestro, which is part of my audio interface. And he's just going to play, and we're just going to watch where it comes in on the line. And that's a good level. You can see it went into the yellow, but not the red. It might actually be a little high, but I'm going to risk it because he's mostly playing low sounds on this. So that's a pretty good level. Now we go back, and we're going to close these two doors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a measure at the start and a measure at the end.
Sure.
And then I'm going to set it on loop record, which is a super awesome modern recording technique thing we have now. And he's just going to play it through like 3 times. I'm not going to stop it. And that means I have 3 takes. And if there's one take that's all perfect except one note, we can just take that one note from one of the other 2 takes and splice them together. All right, here we go. And Art said that he wanted to hear the fake saxophone in the background while he was playing the real sax. So that's why I'm keeping it in. Here we go. I already screwed up. I'm recording over my wife's vocals. Here, just a second. Okay, now I've got the right track recorded. Here we go again. Except this thing got screwy. Here we go. Now you can see he's recording on there. Now I'm going to let him go one more time. We'll go once more. Now I'm saying to Art at the same time as I'm saying to you students, I'm going to mute the fake saxophone, and we're going to hear the last take of what Art just did. So that sounds way better than the fake sax. Fake sax sounded okay, but that sounds like a real instrument, like a real performance. So, yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if you record this or not, but also in a studio situation like this, I would say, hey, would you like me to do one take that's up an octave?
And in this case, I'll say no, because I don't need it. But tell me why you would do that. I'm curious. Why? Just because sometimes they want it.
No, if this is serving like as the bottom part of the line, this is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Just the meat of a tenor sax, the money register is like.
Well, I'm changing my vote then. I'm going to set up another track, and we're going to record that. And the reason why we're going to do it is I don't have to use it, but maybe I'll listen to it and go, oh, wow, that sounds way better, right? And again, this is why you get a real player, right? Okay, so let's do it.
Keep playing my other track so I can be in tune with.
Okay. does sound cool. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to have you do that one more time for that one long held note. And you can see what he's doing. He's looking at the part and going, because there's only one part where he came down early both times. So he's just looking at it and going, okay, what the heck was that?
My iPhone went to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How long is it on? 2 minutes before it turns off?
This will be fine.
This happens to me when I'm recording lyrics too. I'll have to hit my iPhone while I'm singing. So yeah, so that it doesn't turn off. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I'm going to tell you both what I'm going to do. And again, this is why you get a real player like Art, okay? So I can already tell you as a composer what I've just decided is the first time through, I'm just going to have the lower part. The second time through, I'm going to have the lower part and the harmony part, which he's about to record. And the last chorus through, I'm going to have the octaves, the doubled octaves on both. So that last chorus will sound like bigger and more awesome than the others. And that would have never have happened if Art had not made that suggestion, right? So that actually the arrangement is now slightly different. And the other thing I wanted to add is even though I'm dying to hear Art solo over this stuff, I'm going to have him do the other boring harmony part of this first because he just got all the rhythms and everything on that part. And so it's going to be a lot easier for him to learn the second part now than it would be after he soloed for 20 minutes and came back to it. All right, so I'm going to print that out. I'm going to email you that part, and then we'll get back to filming again. I wrote a really weird thing, which actually, if you want to overrule, you can. What he's noticing is there's this one note that's a semitone higher than the others on the da 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 da. That's the weird note, right?
There it is. That's correct, right?
Yeah, I think it's da 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 da. Yep.
Right. So it's just one.
I will tell you, if I was nice to Art, I would have sent him these parts before he had to show up and play them. But I wasn't nice to Art. I'm not nice. I'm not nice. Okay, here we go. Oh, and Art, I'm totally not recording right now. Yeah. And also, I'm going to say something that we never, of course, do in the studio. Ever, ever, ever. But if you felt like not doing that one weird note that goes a semitone higher, if that was a pain in the butt, I, of course, could pitch shift that one note if you just played the other note every single time. You don't usually need to do that. But if there's a serious time issue and there's one note, I always tell my singers, just sing whatever you feel like singing, and I'm going to fix that one note.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so two things. First of all, the diva in there just asked for reverb on his saxophone, but then he asked for no reverb on his saxophone. So we're not going to reverb it at the moment. Although I understand why. It's like as a vocalist, it sounds great when you have reverb. So we can put it on if you want. The second thing is, if you guys noticed, I had one headphone can. Are they called cans? One headphone can on my ear and one off my ear. And I'll give you 5 seconds to figure out why. And I'm curious, do you like to put them both on your ears? He can't even hear me.
It changes every single time, depending on what's coming in and who else I need to listen to. I don't need to listen to anybody else here, so I would have them on all the way.
So I like to put one on and one off because I like to hear the music, but there's something sort of organic about I like to hear my own voice organically. There's no right answer here, but anyways, I'm just telling you that's why I had one headphone on and one off. Now, in all seriousness, do you want me to put reverb on? Because I'm fine doing that.
If you can do it easily.
Okay, I'll put it on. All right, so I'm going to put the reverb on, and then what we're going to do is we're going to record him just improvising over around my vocals.
You normally do reverb on any track where somebody's soloing because you want them to feel as good as possible about what's going, what's going down on tape. That's all. So when I was just playing those parts, I just wanted it dry and accurate. But now it's more fun.
Yeah, and my diva joke aside, the reason why I made that is we singers like the same thing. Like if you're, the way you can think of it is when you sing in the shower, you always sound better, right? And the reason why is there's all this reverb, and it gives you confidence, and it makes you sing out louder. So when you're producing somebody, whatever makes somebody play better is what you want to do. So if a singer wants more reverb or a saxophone player wants more reverb, you put it on. As he said himself, you can always take it off in the mix after the track, right? That's what's great about digital stuff. In the analog world, that wasn't the case. If he had reverb on and he was recording, that was it, right? It was done.
Yep.
All right. Okay, now one thing that I want to teach you students as a master producer is you always want to say something incredibly uninspiring to the session musician right before we record. So I just wanted to tell you, Art, that my stepfather thinks Kenny G is the greatest thing in the world, and you are my Kenny G. Okay, here we go.
Normally on something like this, I would let probably the singer do one verse completely without the saxophone, unless the producer wanted a bunch of stuff at the top before the vocals come in.
I totally agree with your artistic opinion that let's let the song speak for itself and then let's start giving it the jazz.
Okay.
Little breaths, those first steps. It's hard to imagine that someday you'll leave the nest. But for now you're right here with us, and we'll sing that you are the
Beautiful. Did you notice the whole time I was trying to turn a compressor onto my vocal and it would never do it?
When Cory asked me, he says, I think I've got what I need on the tenor. Would you like to do anything more? The correct answer then is no. If the producer is fine, then the whole session is fine. This session is not about you. It's about you contributing something to this larger thing. So I'm never, and you're never there to slow down the session. You treat these things like the time is really expensive, because it usually is. Now, regarding miking the clarinet, don't ever mic it at the bell. In fact, you
the bell of the clarinet.
Of the clarinet. In fact, you said your stepfather made that or said that about Kenny G.
He loves Kenny G. Can't
the
get enough of
reason
Kenny
why
G.
Kenny G is referred to as that weasel-toned soprano player is because he uses a DPA or a cordless mic that goes right into the bell, which is the worst sound of the instrument.
Oh, there you go.
You should mic clarinet or soprano sax between the hands. And if you film me while I'm doing it, I might actually work the mic
Uh-huh.
because the throat tones are not as powerful. So I might actually get down here when I play those and back up when I do, almost like a vocalist does,
Yep.
like this. So
Like a live vocalist. Using
exactly, yeah. Okay, that's all I've got.
All right. I will also tell you something off topic but amusing. I'm just remembering as he's putting in his read. Art is the man who told me one of the most useful things I have ever heard as a touring artist, which is I have, I do my loop recording thing and I have a bunch of different instruments, all of which I play much worse than Art plays. And one of them is the saxophone. And I always toured around with these wooden reeds for years. And Art, at one point, a couple of years ago, like 5 years ago, said, "Are you aware that there are things called plastic reeds?" And I'd never even heard of them. And he said, "They may not sound quite as perfect as the wooden reeds, but they don't break.
They always work."
Yeah. And now I tour with plastic reeds, and it's amazing. I just occasionally, not even always, which is gross, but I take them out and I'll just rinse them off and then I'll put them back in and that's it.
Right.
So efficiency. All right. Say it again.
Is this just going to be on the solo section?
I thought maybe I'd just let you play a few licks here and there.
Pick and choose and dumb stuff.
Same thing. And in each instrument, I'll probably only use a couple. Yep. Okay. It's not fun. I apologize. Something wanky is going on. I'm not.
But for now you're right here with us, and we simply think that you are the best. Sydney,
Beautiful.
oh Sydney, yeah, oh Sydney, I can teach you to share of your big heart, make your mama laugh, your teach me how to give as long as I live. I will love you.
I'm going to stop there. Will you do that thing and hold the note? I like that when you were. Yeah, will you do that?
That's fine. Same place is good.
Okay.
Make your mama laugh, your spark in your eyes. Teach me how to give as long as I will love you.
I can place it wherever I want, so that was perfect. Okay, by the way, I really love the clarinet, so I'm going to have you go through and do. I love that. I want one more take so I can take my favorite parts from, okay?
That tune.
It sounds, it really adds a lot of flavor to it, and one of the things I know, this is funny, but we were just listening, on the way back from the Broncos, we were listening to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and Sydney was loving When I'm 64, and she was loving all the clarinet stuff. So I know she's going to love the clarinet in this. Yeah.
So now, since you're liking the clarinet, let's pull all the tenor out. Yeah. Please, sir.
You're the boss, boss.
I hope that I can teach you to share of your big heart.
By the way, I liked it.
You were filming.
Oh yeah, that was good. That's the best part of the whole film. Yeah. By the way, the reason I'm good is you can do it again if you want. The first part of the last take was exceptional, and the end of this take was exceptional. So, yeah.
Normally, no, this is fine. What you don't want to do is mic the flute here, because this is where all the noise, this is where all the turbulence comes through. So if you're in a studio, you want to mic the flute kind of, so it's pointing towards your face, but coming up from maybe your left hand, like here. So that way all your noise and your turbulence are going this way, you're picking up the sound. And then to a certain extent, you're getting more sound as you go down the flute, because the flute gets weaker as you go generally, farther down the tube. If you're on a live gig with a Shure SM58, I tell my students, you play so that your nose is touching the SM58. And so then you know what kind of lipstick the singer was wearing.
Now, why is that different on the SM58 than on the Neumann? Why do you play differently towards the mic?
Both the 57s and the 58s have what's called a presence effect, which is a bass boost when you get right up on the microphone. So it gives you an immediate bottom end to the flute that you never had before. And then when you hear that back through the monitors, you actually think you can play the flute.
Nice. Nice. Well, and by the way, I've written for flute with orchestra, but he just taught me some. I've never thought about where to mic a flute, because honestly, it's always been some other engineer who's set it up. Anybody know why I had this thing when I was singing, but we're not doing it on his instruments? That's right. It's because I spit into the mic when I sing, and he doesn't spit, hopefully.
Well, or also for plosives, too, the percussive
exactly.
P sounds, yeah.
Yeah. And for the plosives, you try to sing a little off to the side.
Okay, that's good.
So we're going to do a flute thing, and just so you know, I didn't introduce him properly at the start. If you ever want to hear Art and all his amazing jazz cats play, Art is actually the director, and I think the founder.
Founder and director.
Tell him about your group, because it's amazing.
Colorado Jazz Repertory Orchestra.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of it.
And
all you do is you get the best musicians in the area, hire the best arrangers, and get out of the way.
There you go. So, but they play, you can find them playing at Arvada Center, Lone Tree Center, Pace Center, and like all the big performing arts centers.
Yeah.
You can see the
CJRO.
CJRO, yeah. And they also have recordings. And seriously, they're badass. So go check them out. Seriously. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All right, I should have done this a long time ago. Nate the Great has taken over on the mixing board, or at Logic. I'm now the filming guy. Here we go, Nate. Tell us what we're doing, and tell him when you're started or whatever.
Okay, so we're just doing a take of flute now, over the whole song, and I'll give you a thumbs up when we're rolling. Okay.
Oh, wait, I need to give him my inspirational. I need to give him my inspirational producer talk. You miss one note and you're fired. All right. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go.
When I hold you in my arms, girl, ain't nothing I can do but fall in love. Those little
Oh, yeah.
breaths,
I like that.
those first steps. It's hard to imagine that someday
Will you turn off the
you'll
clarinet?
leave
Mute the
nest.
clarinet improv.
But for now, you're
Thank you.
right here with us. That was simple to think that you are the best. Sin, our love for you, bad up the sinning I hope that I can teach you
That was pretty sweet.
to share of your.
Yeah. By the way, I love that was. Oh
Use any of that.
no, that's not true. That was beautiful. I love the flute on this song. I mean,
I was intentionally overplaying on the solo section.
that's all right. I want a crazy Dixieland. So I loved the solo, by the way.
Okay, fine.
And I'm gonna have you do the solo one more. So I have two of them. All right, punks. I just wanted to say thank you to these two gentlemen. The man on the right, Art, is one of the finest jazz musicians in the area, one of the finest educators in the area. Go check out his band. I really appreciate all that we've learned from you today, Art. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And the man on the left, who I actually haven't given enough kudos to in this video, who has videotaped almost all of this class session for you. This is Nate the Great. I know at least one of my sessions has met him. Nathan is, well, let me put it this way. I've never had a better student than Nate. He is a senior at CU Denver. He is already an excellent recording engineer. So if you're looking for somebody to engineer and record your stuff, I would hire him already, and he's a senior. So thank you both, gentlemen, for all of your work. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in class if I ever get back from Southern California. See you later, punks.